it up for the greatest comedian alive, Mr. Ian Ellis!
His name is Ian Ellis.
Welcome to the Ian Ellis podcast. I'm Ian Ellis. Today we're joined by a very special guest. You might know him as an ex-stripper or an ex-pimp, as a comedian, but he's soon to be known as an author, Mr. Dante Nero.
What's happening? What's going on, baby?
So you got a new book coming out called Get Your Balls Back. Do you want to tell us what the book's about?
Yeah. Well, let me give you the whole inception of it in the first place. I know my good friend, one of my best friends of all time, Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah.
He was doing some stuff on Opie and Anthony, basically just talking about his ideas. It's just basically what we like to call bitch management. and Opie and Anthony had said to him on air that he needed to do a show. And that show, what they would do on Sirius Radio would be on a Saturday. They would just play reruns, and what they started doing is, like a lot of hot comics at that time would do a show on that Saturday. We would go into a studio and actually do a radio show of whatever format you wanted to do. And Bobby Kelly did one, Rich Voss did one, Billy Bird did one, and Patrice was commissioned to do one. And he called me up and said to me, like we constantly were on the phone,
yeah.
We were kicking on the phone about that subject, bitch management, and he asked me to come on as his second chair because him and I had very similar thoughts on relationships and stuff, and what was actually I guess what I like to call the destruction of men in our society, and that was the birth of the Blackphyllis show, and we did the Blackphyllis show, and it really ended up being kind of this cult classic, and people, this was like almost 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody, I had a series of fans who just kept looking up these old shows, and they posted them on YouTube and stuff, and it became this whole phenomenon. And after he passed, well, not even after, even before he passed, I was getting Facebook and emails from people that wanted us to do the show again. They constantly wanted us to do the show. And then after he passed, it really was kind of a situation where people had been asking us to do the show, and they wanted me to pick up the show. And so I just thought that this was some information that guys needed to hear, just in terms of how to handle themselves in a relationship. And I figured we were actually getting ready to start the podcast within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The podcast is going to be, the original name of the radio show was Black Phillip. It was kind of a spin-off on Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
But instead of calling it Dr. Phil, it was called Black Phillip. The show was called Black Phillip. And I'm not really black. I'm kind of like a light tan. So we decided to call the show Beige Phillip. And it's basically my homage to Patrice O'Neill, the Black Phillip show, and what we were doing at that time.
Yeah, I was thinking that they need Vaughn to do a show, and it'll be Blackphyllis.
Well, what's interesting is I've had somebody say that to me. What's interesting about that, but to say that is to not really understand what the original principles are. In the Black Phillip, which is that women are constantly just a reflection of the men that they're with.
Gotcha.
So Ron's identity stems from wherever he left off. I've had a couple people that say, that she should co-star on it or co-host it, and I've said this to people over and over again, that a woman is a reflection of the man that she's with. And a lot of times we feel that this woman is aggressive, this woman's not aggressive, but constantly over and over, women are just a reflection of the man that they fall in love with. So Ron's growth, intellectual and emotional growth, happened because of Patrice, and it continues. It stops after Patrice escalates her emotional growth.
Yeah.
So, to give a woman that kind of recognition goes against the whole principle of what we were talking about in the first place. I don't have to say this. If anybody knows Bonnie Parker, which is Bonnie for Bonnie and Clyde, she was sewing sundresses before she was killing cops and robbing So that's kind of that's how strong that dick was. That it took her from when do you go? Forget about the sundresses. I'm ready to shoot cops and rob banks. And she went from a seamstress to a bank robber based on because she was a reflection of crime.
So I had some relationship questions I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
There's a lot of weak men right now, and I feel like a lot of men lack discipline. Like they give up too much when they're in a relationship, and they don't know how to walk away when a relationship is over. Can you talk to me about the importance of discipline when you're dealing with a relationship?
Well, I think the single most important thing is that you got to be ready to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that's most important, about the Blackphyllis, Beige principles is that you have to understand what your value is. I mean, when you take a girl out on a date, you pick her up in your car. You say your car knows to drive that car. You pay your insurance to drive the car, otherwise you can't drive the car. You put your gas in the car. You take her out. You pick her up. You orchestrate this date that you take her out. You spend your money. You feed her. You talk to her. And really, all you get back, all you really love about her is the way she likes you.
Yeah.
Personally. That's all you gain. Now, when you think of all the sacrifices that you make over and over and over again, the fact that a woman thinks that she's doing you a favor by being with you is really somebody who's not really good at math and really doesn't understand the checks and balances. You do everything. And really all you like is the fact that she likes you.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is you have to be ready to lose, or at least understand that you're not really losing. Every time you get rid of a chick, you're doing yourself a favor. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand the importance of us having relationships and companionship. I mean, we're men, but we still are emotional person. We want companionship. But understand that we pay dearly for that companionship. Because the only thing that we ever do is make sacrifices. If you're a man and you're with a woman, you're making sacrifices. That's what it means to be a man. The only guy who doesn't make that much sacrifices is a pimp. And that's because he gets the monetary money for a woman selling her body. And he still has an excessive amount of responsibility because he has to bail her out. He's got to teach her and pick her up. He's supposed to, he's not even that much far ahead. It's weird because when you think about somebody like what's the guy that married Britney Spears? What's this guy's name?
I have no idea.
It was like she married her dancer. And he ended up keeping the kids and her.
Kevin Featherline.
Say again?
Kevin Featherline.
Yeah, Featherline. He's the guy. As much as we look at a situation with Tiger Woods, I have to pay $50 million to the nanny, to the housekeeper, and we look at over and over a guy like Donald Trump pays a woman $25 million who was some goofy chick from some third world country with a fucked up accent, pays her $25 million. We constantly look at those situations as men and go, that's really fucked up. But you get a guy like Kevin Featherline, he's one of the guys that wins, right? And we should be walking around with Kevin Featherline t-shirts. He's the one guy that won. He's the one guy that picked the game and won. Meantime, we look at him as a punk because ultimately, to be a man means to make those sacrifices. And I think the real point is that when you make those sacrifices, there are things that you should have to contend with. And I think we forget, as men, we do things. It's like if we go to the bar and I buy you a beer, I don't keep track of how many beers I bought you. With boys, this is what we do. I got the round, you got the next round. We don't keep track of it. But I think with women, they keep track of what they do and what they don't do. And they store it in the back of their head. So it's like checks and balances. And we need to do the same thing because if I'm paying for everything and I'm doing it, I'm listening to these goofy stories with these goofy friends who I don't give a fuck about, I leave my dirty drawers on the floor, pick them the fuck up and shut them out. I don't think that's a problem.
I love it, man. I'm going through a breakup now, so I've been having a hard time taking the L, but that's why I call.
So you know what it is? Really, she's doing you a favor. Because what we do is we hold on to the good things and we put those good things on a pedestal. But if you think of all the crap that you couldn't do by being with her, the things that you would be able to do, she's doing you a favor.
So you've said in the past that happiness in a relationship comes from the man. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, because a woman doesn't know what makes her happy. And here's how you prove that. You ask the girl, you're hungry? She goes, yeah. You go, what do you want to eat? She goes, I don't know. What do you want to eat? You go, how about Chinese? She goes, no, I don't want Chinese.
Yeah.
You go, what about Italian? She says, I don't want Italian. Okay, well, then what do you want? No, you pick. And she goes, what about Mexican? I don't want it Mexican. So ultimately what she wants to do is she wants you to give her a series of multiple choices so she can choose basically from the options that she gives her. She doesn't really know how to reach her happiness. Most women are looking for you to create that happiness for her. And they don't even know how to define that. They just know what they don't like. And even in a real sense, they don't even know that. But they know what they don't like, and they tell you no, 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 no. Okay, I kind of like that. So what you have to do is figure that out. So what you have to do first and foremost is in order for you to do the things that make her happy, you got to be happy first.
True.
You're going to do things that you think is going to make her happy. She's not going to be happy about it, and then you're going to be unhappy, and she's still going to be unhappy.
Oh, my God.
And if you do what you're supposed to do to make you happy, she's still not going to be happy. She's still going to give you problems, but at least you're happy. You've done what you want. At least you get a win.
Yeah.
If your happiness comes from her, you're going to lose every time because you don't have it. Usually, because just understand their logic is built on this emotional foundation that's constantly moving. It's a moving, shifting, living thing that they have no clue that it's going on. It's what the pain changes just by their emotional state.
All right, can you...
How could we escalate the dialogue on a logical way if there's no real foundation from it in the first place?
Can you talk to me about what is bookshelfing?
Well, bookshelfing is a lot of guys are really nice. They're really nice guys. And what I call is bookshelfing your way into the pussy. Meaning, you think you do specific things. You're going to do this for her. You're going to do that for her. You're going to do this for her. And then all of a sudden, she's going to say, wow, he's such a great guy. I'm going to give him some pussy, which ultimately becomes pity pussy.
Yeah.
Now, if she doesn't like you, she still will take things from you. She still will take those favors from you. You'll have your arm knee deep in her toilet, trying to unstep her up to the shoulder in her toilet. And then what I say is, you can't bookshelf. What I say is, you can't bookshelf your way. No matter how many bookshelves you put up, no matter how much your furniture you build, she will not fuck you. I know girls that will allow you to build their IKEA bed and then fuck another dude in it the minute you leave. So you have to understand. A woman there's no woman that doesn't want a strong man. She wants a man who's, and if you think about it, it just makes sense. She wants a man who's confident, who's decisive at what he wants.
Even if they say they don't, at the end of the day they do, because they can't articulate what their real needs are.
Right, because it comes from an emotional place anyway. It doesn't come from a really logical place. You can articulate what makes you happy and what you want. That's how we think. That's the difference in the way we are as men and women. And I think to not recognize those differences, for a guy to think that a woman thinks like you is ridiculous.
All right, can you talk to me about what it means to be consistently inconsistent?
Okay, when I say consistently inconsistent, it's because women try to get a bead on what you're doing by what you do regularly. Like, if you create, what happens is men are usually creatures of habit. We create these habits, and ultimately those habits ultimately will become something that they get a beat on. This is what you do. It becomes what you do. I also say a lot of times, if you do anything for a woman more than 3 times, it's no longer a favor. It's what you're supposed to do. So it's falls into that same thing. I'm gonna tell you. So I was with I was married for 8 years,
Ugh.
and at the time, my ex-wife was going for her master's degree, and she said, she was like, oh, baby, I'm really jammed up. I got laundry to do, and I don't have time. I got to finish the tapes, and I got to final tomorrow. And I said, let me see what I can do. Just pack all the laundry up let me see what I can do. What I did was we used to live in a 5-floor walk-up. I took 100 pounds of laundry, threw it on my back, put it in my car, and I rode around until I found a place where they, do laundry by the pound. I found a place that did it by a drop it off. A little Korean lady washed all the laundry and folded it up beautiful, brought it back up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the laundry. Now you don't have to do the laundry. And after that, he probably never did laundry again, which I didn't really have a problem with at that time. But ultimately, what happened was, he was on the phone about a year and a half later. Her girlfriend was on the phone with her. I could hear them talking, and she was like, oh, girl, I got to go. I got to do my laundry. And this is what she said. She said, girl, I don't do laundry. Now, she didn't say, I don't do laundry because my man's such a great guy.
Yeah.
And he took care of me, which is what happened, and gave me that credit. What she just, all she wanted her to understand is, I don't do laundry. I get my laundry done.
That arrogance.
Instinctively, it was a thought how this favor that I did, that became consistent. It was a favor that I continued to do week after week, month after month, year after year, ultimately became what I was supposed to do. And as guys, we got to understand, we don't have to do anything.
True.
That's how women treat you. They don't got to do nothing. It is your job to navigate the minefield to get in their pussy.
All right. So something I've been talking to my boys about lately is how to read between what women say. Like a lot of times women will accuse you of the very crimes that they're guilty of. Is that something you can speak to?
Well, that's the first problem is when you're trying to read what she says and what she doesn't say, you're already making a mistake. Because it doesn't matter what she thinks. What matters is what you think. Now, it doesn't matter, like I got a nephew, 23 years old, and he's constantly going, oh, the girl texted me and she said this, and I don't care what she said. What you need to do is establish what you want from her.
Yeah.
If that's not what she's into, then stop giving her casual conversation. Like, I've had girls say, I don't have casual sex. Well, guess what? I don't have casual conversation. So we're one and the same. So when you start to try to think and figure out what she's doing, you make a mistake right there. You got to think, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. You're not down. Okay, I'll find somebody else. And when you really start to understand what your value is in the relationship, then when you're ready to walk away from somebody, she's going, why is he so why am I so unimportant?
Yeah.
Like, why is he so ready to work? In her mind, she's like, why is he not trying to get my favor? Why is he not trying to get in my good favor? And then she goes, wow, he must be more valuable than me. And then ultimately, she's chasing you.
That's some real grown-up talk. That's tough medicine.
Yeah, it is. It's difficult to do because, especially when you're young, and you're trying to get laid, that's your priority. But you have to, everything I say to young dudes all the time, whatever you think you know about women, do the opposite. You're usually going to be right on point.
All right, this is one of my favorite things from the Black Phillip show. Do you ever get a chance to just love them?
I think you get a chance to love them, but you still, I don't know if you ever see that movie, Officer and the Commander with Russell Crowe.
No.
You ever see that movie?
No.
Well, it's a movie where he's on the ship, the captain of the ship, and there's a guy there who's a botanist, and they're going to the Galapagos Islands, and he wants to name all these animals in the Galapagos Islands, and the crew is ultimately looking at him like he's a punk, and they kind of look at him funny, and they're losing respect for him as they're on the hot seat. And Russell Crowe grabs the guy that looked at him funny, straps him to the mast, and he gives them 20 licks with a cat and nine tail.
Yeah.
And then he says to this first mate afterwards, the guy who they were getting ready to, because they get ready to chump him. He said, listen, these guys, they want to be led. They want a captain and a first mate. They don't want a friend. And if you act like a friend, then we're going to have a mutiny on our hands. So if you want to be the captain of your ship, the king of your castle, that job comes with no vacation.
Yeah.
You can't take a vacation. That means you need to control the situation at all times. You need to dictate the tone. And as you start to feel a little more confident about it, then you can kind of loosen the reins a little bit. But damn guaranteed when you loosen the reins, your chicken's going to go off the hook. It's going to happen, and it's every woman. It just matters how far they go up. It's almost like breaking a horse. Like they're just waiting for an opportunity to get some pump on their back so they can bump them off. Yeah. So that's just what the nature is. The nature of that is such that because she's trying to prove, she needs to prove to herself that you're still the dude who should be riding her back.
True.
If you're not the dude, you deserve to get fucked off. So I think you can love them, and you can love them, but you have to love them on your terms, and not and still understand that you still need to set the tone and the direction of a relationship.
I know that a lot of guys, once they lose control of the relationship, they overcompensate, and that's when it gets physical. What are some steps to retake control without being extreme? Without grabbing the cat of nine tails?
The biggest word I would say to that is you have to be unaffected. You have to be unaffected. Like when she does things, that you figure out, like, one of my biggest techniques is if a woman likes your company, she enjoys your company, then when she acts up, you remove your company. It's just like you got to train them just like you would train a puppy. And if the treat is your company and she's acting in ways that doesn't deserve a treat, then you remove yourself. You remove yourself from her so that she ultimately she goes, well, where's he at? Like, if she likes the arguing, then you don't argue.
Yeah.
You know, if she likes the cuddle, then you don't cuddle. If she likes the phone call, then you don't call. And you don't go, and then when she's texting and going crazy about what she's texting, ultimately, what you're doing her a favor, because all she wants to do is break you so that she can break you so she can eventually toss you to the curb. I say this all the time. I said the screwed up thing about relationships and marriages, that a woman falls in love with you for everything that you are. She spends the rest of the relationship trying to change you into everything that you're not. And when she does change you, she will dump you for a guy who is what you were when she met you.
Oh, my God. Ugh. Yeah.
And you'll find dudes there's guys who are going to listen to this that are going to feel that is going on right now.
Yeah. Well,
their ability to lose will keep them on that track. Keep them on that track until the girl leaves.
So, one thing I've been talking about with my friends is this idea that women have a switch in them. And once that switch goes off and they're not in love with you anymore, there's no point in even fighting. Just walk away.
And when you walk, and if you walk away, you have to walk away. I would say you got to walk away not as a tactic. You have to ultimately understand what your value is. Period. And a lot of times we're insecure about what our value is. Maybe we're overweight, or maybe we're not as attractive as we think, or we're not as cool. One of the things that I say to dudes who are insecure about things that they're insecure about, fix yourself. You know, and don't fix yourself for the chick. Fix yourself. If you're overweight, lose the weight.
Yeah.
You feel that you're not social, read a book. Have something to talk about. If you don't think that you dress nice, and there's guys who make you feel insecure because they dress nicer, then it's really easy. You can go to a chick in a boutique and say, listen, and be honest to this chick, and you say, listen, I'm not a guy who's really dressed as well, and I'm not really stylish. Could you help me out? There's no better pickup line than asking a girl in a boutique, but I really would like it if you can help me be more stylish. Damn. Because the confidence of you being able to say that and make that admission and let her help you, that's your pickup. You can dump your girl and pick up the chick in the boutique. But you have to put time in yourself. And you have to put time in yourself so that there's nothing that you feel uncomfortable about, that you don't feel insecure. If you can't dance, take a dance lesson. When I was a kid, man, I had this image of myself, like, man, I would be able to walk, salsa, play the piano. I'd go to a piano bar, and I'm with this chick, and I just go. I was like 13 when I was thinking. I was like, I'll go, hey, let me just.
Yeah. The 13-year-old Bob Hope.
I go to the piano and I play a song, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe they play something, and they play salsa music, and then we dance, and then I go, tomorrow I'm gonna pick you up, and we'll take a up on my motorcycle. And these were all these things in my head that I wanted to be that dude. And initially, me wanting to be that dude was so that I could get girls. But the thing is, I'm 45 years old, and I am that dude.
Yeah.
I'm well-lit, I'm well-traveled, I dress nice, I get my pedicures and my manicures done, my clothes, I got $1,200 alligator shoes, 30 pairs of $1,200 alligator shoes, I got a good job, I'm educated, I can salsa, I can tango, I can waltz, and, I never got around to playing the piano, but I think I'm good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I'm any chick that's lucky enough to have me, she's lucky.
True.
I know she's lucky, and she knows she's lucky. You gotta groom yourself, you gotta smell good, your breath can't stink, you gotta brush your teeth, you gotta comb your hair, you gotta take showers. I mean, these are fundamental things that young guys don't do because we're so lazy and we're worried about what a guy, but the boys think about what you're doing, but they're not fucking you.
Yeah,
if they like you, chances are they don't.
They're getting their self-esteem from outside rather from inside.
Exactly. If a chick, I'm trying to think, I had something on the other day. I had these honey brown alligator shoes. I had my nails done. I had my nails done. My nails was all shiny. And the dude was like, "Hey, your nails are very shiny." Exactly. And I go, "Sweetheart, what do you think about my nails?" And she said, "Oh, that's really nice." So it's like, if it attracts you, then if it attracts you, then you're a guy. Then you're not really a guy. You're a gay dude.
Yeah.
Because I'm not supposed to appeal to you. My fashion sense of who I am is not supposed to appeal to you if you're a straight guy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to appeal to you.
Yeah, if they can give you advice, they're batting for the wrong team.
Yeah.
All right, the last thing I wanted to ask you, can you give us an update on how Beatrices' family is doing since he passed?
His mom is, I really haven't spoke to Vaughn at all. I mean, I spoke to his mom, and, this is just a difficult time. I mean, he was a really special dude. He affected a lot of people's lives. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't mention his name, but, you know what I mean? This is lost, and I think I think he would be happy at how people perceive him. But I mean, I think he was an extraordinary dude, and because he was an extraordinary dude, it's just not an easy thing to get over.
Yeah. Yeah, you never get your flowers while you're alive. It sucks.
Yeah.
All right, so
I really don't think that he ever knew how beloved he really was.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get your credit too. Anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
Yeah, just look for the Beige Phillip show. I'm not sure about what I'm going to do. I might do it on Glory Hole Radio, and it'll probably eventually be on iTunes. And I'm actually trying to get it on Sirius. If you want to check it, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's twitter.com/Dante Nero or Facebook.com/Dante Nero, DanteNero.com. I welcome anybody that wants to send me questions or something. You can send me on Facebook and send me a question, and I'll answer it. And if once I get the podcast up, I'll answer it on the air when I do the podcast and when I do the live radio. I'll bring the emails in and I'll answer that. In a few, once I get the podcast up, you guys will actually, I'll have an email with, I believe, Dante's friends at gmail.com. You can send questions on that, but if you want, you can just hit me on Facebook or any questions you guys want to know, because I know I'm trying to start this movement.
Yeah.
I'm trying to start this movement. I mean, something that Patrice used to say all the time is, what's happening now is, the relationship pool is like as if all the sharks in the pool were had all of their teeth taken out.
Yeah,
and now
man.
the salmon are swimming around and they're going, wow, it's boring. We don't really do nothing anymore. And that's kind of what happened. We've all been defanged and by the media, by television, and women are really not happy. They're really not happy. They're not really happy with these weak men. They think they are controlling men and things like that. where guys are asking permission and all kinds of, it's insane to me.
Yeah, the penguins are running the asylum.
Permission for anything.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll holler at you.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me on.
Give it up for Dante Nero, everybody. Come on, clap for me, because I can hurt you, motherfuckers. Clap faster, little white guy. Faster! Here we are. Black girls with scalp. We got the sisters over here. And girlfriend? No? Why'd you say it like that? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, nah! Friend? Yeah? Well, how the fuck you hang out with girls with vaginas? Who does that? Shit. Any Jews? Jews in the house? Yes? Yeah. A lot of times people mistake me for being Jewish. Sometimes I wear my sideburns long and curly, and sometimes I wear my do-rag 5 sizes too small. Maybe it's the way I say challah, I don't know. One day I'm walking down the street, this rabbi runs up to me and goes, Shalom ma, ata, Yehudi, nerek, kimo Yehudi. I go, I don't know, maybe on my father's side. Some of you didn't laugh at that, but I'm a big black guy, I'm speaking Hebrew, and that's all you motherfuckers gonna give me, that's it? Thank you, ma'am. You have no idea how many fat Jewish girls I had to sleep with to get the pronunciation of that, because I am a giver. I give back. Couple here, yes? How long y'all been together? 3 years, nice, it's very good. You married? Yes? No, just fucking good. Nice. I don't know. Did you want to come out here or did she make you? You wanted to? Good answer, sir. You're going to get blown tonight. Problem is that the vagina is too popular. That's what the problem is. Makes us do shit we wouldn't normally do, right? He's nodding his head, yes. First thing you know, you're in a strip club, getting a lap dance in sweatpants, right? Next thing you know, you're peeping over your wife's shoulder, trying to peek at the game as she's telling you you're emotionally unavailable, right? That's what happens with the vagina. We need to make the penis more popular, fellas, right? We need a PR plan for the penis. Make it more popular. I'm thinking maybe we'll take up a cause like penises against breast cancer. How about that? And that is, instead of pink bracelets, we'll give out pearl necklaces. How about that? You know, she knows a pearl necklace, you little freak. So look, she really does know it. She covered her face. Dirty little bitch, don't you? Nice. We gotta make the penis more popular. Then I thought that, like, collectively as men, right, we should be more giving, more loving, understand what a woman wants, more sensitive, better lovers. That'll never work. Look, this is what I came up. Women love shoes, right? Since women love shoes, right? So I'm working on a condom with Gucci, ankle strap, patent leather open toe condom. Come on, people. Then my penis matches your purse. How about that? It's gonna go like sausages at the gay parade. Come on. Three years. How'd you know y'all fell in love? Miss, how did you know you fell in love? When did you know you loved him? Really? That's what it makes him. You're kind of abusive. Really? That's kind of, yeah, and so you liked it because he's abusive. Nice. That's good, sir. You don't want to be too nice. You got it right. You don't want to be, women don't like them when you're nice. Can't bookshelf your way into pussy. You know what that means? No matter how many bookshelves you put up, no matter how much IKEA furniture you build, she will not fuck you. I know girls that will have you build their IKEA bed and then fuck another dude in it. Look at them, all of them right there. Got some poor soul carrying their groceries, unstopping their toilet. He's got his arm in their toilet with a handful of shit up to the elbow. No, that's all right, thank you. Jesus. We don't fall in love with you. We don't just fall in love. You wear us down into it. You're there every day, grinding us in our lives every day. Like termites, you eat the foundation. And every story you tell us about your girlfriend, we lose a little bit of our soul. Then one day you're blowing us, we look down and say, you know, if this bitch got hit with a train, I would be upset. I think I love her. I think I'm in love with her. I love you, bitch. I once had a girl, she said to me, I want you to love me forever. I was like, bitch, you better change your name to Heineken. I love Heineken. It's crazy. What are you gonna do? I actually do pretty good with the ladies on payday. I know like I'm a little intimidating, right? Maybe not now because there's witnesses, but in a dark alley. 294 pounds, I'm 6'1", but I'm a big teddy bear, ladies. The only problem is every time I get pissed off, people lay on the floor and play dead. I don't know why that is.
So I think it's time for us to have a toast. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Let's have a toast for the assholes. Let's have a toast for the scumbags. Every one of them that I know. Let's have a toast for the jerk-offs. Gotta never take work off. Baby, I got a plan. Run away fast as you can.
I haven't been afraid of an audience in like 2 years, and I feel like I might quit comedy tonight. Like the 9/11 of comedy. I just want a list of all the comics, and we're gonna read it like a memorial service. 25 years, but you don't like your lady anymore? Like, you really fucked up, man. I would have left 3 seconds into this show. Are you easing your way into a divorce? Like, you just don't like pussy anymore? He must have some side pussy, because you can't hope to get laid after tonight. Are you guys a love marriage or like an arranged marriage?
Both.
Both? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think anybody chose to stay married for 25 years anymore. Like, I was married for 3 years because it took 2.5 years to get divorced. And you're like a minister or something?
I was.
You were? I'm fucked, man. I'm going through a breakup, so I came here to talk about pussy and how much I hate bitches. And, I just need you to promise that if your man should accidentally laugh at the sexist shit that I say, you'll still give him some pussy tonight. Because it's not his fault. If there was like 10 more... Oh! You got some side dick. Congratulations, I know why you're no longer a minister. Dicking them down. You dicked her out of the cloth. We got a black couple came in the middle, like, play, man. You gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Don't even finish your drinks. If I had dry pussy senses, they would be going crazy right now. There's women that won't even masturbate tonight. That's how much tonight is a turnoff. You're better off like splitting a bottle in the Denny's parking lot. Do we have any fathers here? Yeah! I just want to thank all of the amazing fathers out there for creating so many wonderful hoes. Like, if it wasn't for daddy issues, I wouldn't get any pussy at all. I never thought I'd be able to choke and pee on a chick in the same on a first date, and I've done that twice this week. Thank you for missing all those recitals. I think we need to divorce the idea that love and sex are the same thing. Because in my best relationship, I still wanted to get some side pussy. But in my worst relationship, I never wanted to get some side love. I never like, I'd risk it all just for a moment of affection with another woman. That's just funny. Fuck you. I don't like love, because love is exhausting. Like, love for a man is keeping other men from fucking your woman, and keeping your woman happy enough so she still wants to fuck you. I don't have the energy for that shit. Hey, you've been in a relationship for more than a week, you qualify as like a junior detective. Like 25 years in, you're like Batman. You have the Da Vinci Code for all the shit that comes out of her mouth. You know when she drops a name or adds a name, exactly what she's implying. I love older women because older women know how to just give you the pussy. Like, younger women like to auction off the pussy. Like, I had a girl, she'd give me head and she'd give me asshole, but she wouldn't give me any pussy because she was saving that for Jesus. Oh, really? That joke needs more punchlines to it. But it is true. Sometimes younger women will just take you hostage with pussy. And they're like, go in there and give me all those pants. I'm not giving you any pussy. Hey, young women. So here's some of the sexist bullshit that women pull. Sometimes women get mad because I'll just talk to them any kind of way. And they're like, how come you just can't be respectful and charming? They're only charming when they're trying to get some pussy. I've never been charming to one of my male friends. They're like, oh man, you fell down. How do you feel about that? And it's some anti-sexist bullshit, because then you just reduce yourself to a hole. Because what you're really saying is, how come you can't talk to me like I'm fuckable? You guys have heard of car facts? I think they need ex-girlfriend facts. Like, I want the blue book value of your self-esteem before we go on a date. I want at least 2 recent relationships to co-sign on you're crazy before I pay for dinner. Normally I give men advice about how to go through a breakup, but I'm going to share a new secret tonight. How to get your woman back if you're going through a breakup. You got to do 2 things. You got to ignore them, and you got to get over them. Because women hate being loved. They love loving you, but they don't like being loved in return. It's not funny. It's true. It's not funny at all. Like, you have to ignore women because that's the only way you can fix them. If you tell them, like, I love you and I'll always be there for you, they don't have time to think about how they're wrong for the shit that they did. They just think about how you're a puppy and take advantage of you. I hate fighting with women because women don't like resolution in a fight. They want, like, tabloid status. Like, they want to be able to go into work and tell all their friends just how crazy they made you act. Now, most of my jokes, they're based on real life experiences, and I've never really raped anyone. I mean, there's one incident, kind of a gray area. But I'm going to let you guys be the judge. So my first girlfriend believed that Jesus Christ was her personal Lord and Savior. And this child of God, in her attempt to be as close to Christ as possible, she would practice oral sex and anal sex, but not vaginal, because she was saving that for Jesus. So one day we were fooling around, she was pushing the old tugboat up the Hershey Highway, and I popped out. And she reached between her legs, and she grabbed my cock, and she stuffed it in her pussy. Or as I like to call it, the Lord's hole. Now the problem is, literally seconds later, the girl that I'd been fucking in the ass for the last 6 months realized she was no longer a virgin. And that's when she started saying I should have stopped her and bandying about words like rape. Now by round of applause, how many people here think that qualifies me as a rapist? I thought it was one girl in the back. I was like, is she here tonight? I thought we'd stop talking. How many people here don't think that qualifies as rape? I think I found a jury of my peers. If you guys could sign the petition on the way out, my court date is next week. I'm joking, she's way too scared to take me to court.
Okay, so what if I don't want to give up on her?
You don't call.
You said I don't call if I wanted to give up on her.
Right.
So I don't call either way.
Right.
So what's the difference?
There is no difference right now. See, the only difference between giving up and not giving up is if you take her back when she wants to come back. But you can't do anything to make her want to come back. In fact, you can only do stuff to make her not want to come back.
So the only difference is if I forget about her or just pretend to forget about her.
Right.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it's just like a retroactive decision then? I mean, I could, like, forget about her, and then when she comes back, make like I just pretended to forget about her?
Right, although probably more likely the opposite.
What do you mean?
I mean, at first you're going to pretend to forget about her, you'll not call her, I don't know, whatever, but then eventually you really will forget about her.
Well, unless she comes back first.
See, that's the thing, is somehow they know not to come back until you really forget.
There's the rub.
There's the rub.